Hi, I'm Stacey Jackson, and you're watching the Rockstar Stories on Swept Away TV.
Hi, I'm Ben Polliger.
And I'm Rachel Barrick.
We're here today with
Stacey Jackson.
and I just wanted to start off. Growing up in Canada, now living in London, how has that influenced your music?
That's a great question, because I grew up, I'm a little older than you. I grew up, as a really young child in the 70s, so my influences were definitely sort of Motown, disco, and then once the 80s hit, I went totally in the other direction, and I was a total rock chick with the big hair and the whole thing, and Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue. So, luckily I have that experience behind me, and what I was able to do was just sort of incorporate all those influences. So now, as a recording artist in the, 2000s, I've, been able to sort of utilize all my experiences from where I've been. And so I grew up in Montreal, I moved to New York, I lived in Manhattan for 10 years, and now I'm in the UK, 12 years. So it's just, and I think that because I have all that under my belt, I have the the ability to basically pull from many, many different sources.
So how has performing been a part of your life, and when did you begin performing and everything?
When I was about 11, I had, I don't know if it's still running, the Jerry Lewis Telethon. Do you remember that? Do you guys have it here? You would have done, it's probably your parents would remember it. It's for muscular dystrophy, 24 hours it would run, and he would have all these acts on and whatever. And so one year I decided to coordinate a variety show in my backyard with neighborhood kids, and the local affiliate for the telethon had heard what we did, because we raised jars of money, as you do when you're 11. So they invited us to sing on the show, to do something from the variety show on the Jerry Lewis Telethon. So it was that moment when I went on to the camera and we had to sing in front of everyone that I knew that was something I always wanted to do, and that's that was my first real memory. Yeah, it's funny.
And you are a mother of 4 children, is that right? How have they influenced you, and what do they think of your singing career?
That's another good question. I think it depends on which kid you ask. I think for any teenager, okay, perfect. Let me put it to you. If your mom was doing what I do, what would you think? Okay, that's the question. So I think with a 16, 17-year-old kid, mom, no matter what she does, is embarrassing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that, but I think he also respects what I'm doing. He knows that I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and he sees that it's becoming successful. And so if anything, I'm sending him, I think, ultimately a good message. At the moment, like I said, it depends on the child you ask. My little ones, this is what they know, and this is what I do, and this is what mommy does. And so they don't really know any differently. But yeah, their influences are, they're very critical about not just my music, but also about how I present myself. So obviously my older ones would be like, Mom, you're so not wearing that out on stage, and my younger ones, it's just so cute to hear my 5-year-old singing, I am a woman and I know what I want, So, I think it just depends on the child. Ultimately, the message that they're going to get is, a happy Stacey is a happy mom, and I'm doing what I love to do, so, yeah.
What has inspired you the most, in your music and in your career in performing?
Well, like I said, I've spanned so many generations of music changing and evolving, and so I feel what has inspired me the most, like I said, I think by being able to pull on different things. In my songs, you'll hear disco strings, but you'll also hear a heavy guitar, even though it's dance music. So I've been able to just pull on all those influences. I'm also very fortunate because I have a great support network for the DJs out there, and I'll create a song, I'll write a song, and I'm lucky that they can take what I have and they can amortize it over a variety of mixes that suit both the UK and Europe and the US, or club by club, because what might work in this club might not work in that club, and what might work on this radio station might work. So we give them packages of 6 or 8 or 10, sometimes a dozen different varieties of mixes, dubstep, house, and this way, you can hear my track pretty much everywhere because it works for each individual club.
And what was it like to work with Snoop Dogg? I know you recorded a song with him, and like you probably worked with him many times. What was that like?
Well, I was really fortunate. I mean, it was a bit of a weird one. I mean, I did a charity album with kids like your age, and I brought a bunch of kids up to London from all over the UK, and I sprinkled them along the album of my first album, which was a charity album, Motown Meets Rock. And what happened was one track got remixed by DJ, and fast forward, there's Stacey Jackson sitting between Lady Gaga and the Scissor Sisters. So with that up now, that was a top 10 hit in the UK. I started getting phone calls from producers and DJs saying, "Oh, your vocal really suits this type of music. Would you like to write tracks with us?" So, a few months go by. I wrote co-wrote an album, and I wrote this song called "Live It Up," which was based on a dream. My father had come to visit me. It's a strange but a true story. He had died during the time I was recording the first album. And it was a dream that I had that was very, very bizarre because it's like I never had one since and I hadn't had one before. And it was really real, like I smelt him, I felt him, he was right there. And he basically said, "This is your time. This is it. You have to go and live your dream because you've always wanted this and now is it." So I woke up, freaked out, hair standing up, and I'm like, ah. So I actually wrote the song based on the dream I had, and I said, okay, I need a rapper. So I thought I'd visit the kids again at this Music for Youth charity. But by now I'd already had a hit record, so my management had changed, and they were like, "No, let's call Snoop Dogg." I mean, it was really random. So, he was like, "Let's just send him the MP3." I mean, you must think he must probably get 5 million things a day. Snoop loved the story. He loved that I'm living my dream. He loved the track, most importantly. And 5 days later, I'm on a plane to the U.S. I mean, it happened just like that. And, it was really great because, he wanted to be with me in the studio. I didn't just MP3 him something and then he MP3 me back something. We worked together. He loved the story. He loved the track. He wrote a very personal rap to it. And he's a great guy. We sat, we talked, we're the same age. We have kids the same age. We talked about parenting. Yes, I was talking parenting with Snoop Dogg. We talked about football, like soccer. We spent hours together really working the track and getting to know each other. And he was the consummate professional. Yes, there was, stuff going on in the room because it's Snoop Dogg, but, that's what he does. It's very, that's his creative juice, I suppose.
How has it been expanding your music from the UK into the US, and is it different, and how so?
Good question. Well, when I talk to you about the DJs, it's the same thing because what works, in Europe or in the UK might not necessarily work in the US. There are specific DJs will have remix just for this market. We'll have DJs remix for that market. So just by that alone is what separates the track from being over the pond. So I think it's it's just basically not being too much of a prima donna about your work and being open to the DJs doing their job. Really, I'm very fortunate that I have their support and that they're really into this project. Yeah.
And what are some inspirational words you have for the rising stars today? Some of even my age or even your age.
Right.
What are some words that you have to say? Because with all the new technology today, it's harder to become a star with ways of illegally downloading and pirating and all that.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to that?
That's a very good question again. It's true with especially in your generation, you're at the point where you think music is basically free, right? I mean, you can get it everywhere, you can take it from anywhere. And it's very, very hard to control. I mean, we're all waiting for the late Steve Jobs or somebody who can come up with this amazing idea on how to control that. But I think the message is basically, look, if you have a dream, to give it a shot. And give it your best shot and see how it goes. You don't want to end up being older and going, oh, I should have, I could have, I would have, I think at any age you have to be able to, to live your passion and enjoy what you want to do. And I think that's pretty much the message, really. And no matter if they're your age, or my age, is just to, you know, get off your tush, work hard, and make it happen, because it can happen. Things don't just come, you know. It's a culmination of hard work, little luck, definitely talent, but you know, it all has to come together nicely, and be confidence. I think the advantage that I do have being a little bit older is that, you know, I've been through the mill. You know, I've got kids. I've got, you know, I'm not scared of you know, record labels or whatever. I mean, some of the people running these record labels are half my age already. You know, so, you know, it's just about having the confidence and just living your dream, really.
Okay, so when is your next tour, and what new music are you coming out with?
Well, my new single just hit the UK charts at #2 this week, at the UK pop charts, so that's out now. It's called Is This Love? And that's a remake of a Whitesnake track, so back to my 80s roots. And it's done really well, and it's just been brought over here, so we're going to cross fingers for a good chart placement here on Billboard, which would be great. It's now, you know, you can get it on iTunes. And then the I Am a Woman will come out here in the summer, and I'm working with some amazing DJs on that record. And then Live It Up with Snoop Dogg will follow up at the end of this year with with the album to come out also the end of this year. So a lot on. I'm at the end of my tour. I was just in Vegas, Chicago, LA. I'm in Miami now. Then I'm going to Toronto, Montreal, and then I go home. No, I go to New York, and then I go home. And it's been a real whirlwind. I'll probably be back again in the summer, obviously, to promote the next single. But you know, with kids at home and a husband, it's like I have to really squeeze a 3-month tour into sort of 9 days. So I've done I would have done like 9 shows in 11 days by the time I'm done, and it's just, and a lot of talking and not sleeping. We've been partying. It's like Winter Music Conference out here. You can hear the music in the background, and they don't stop till 4 o'clock. So it's hard for me to get any sleep. So I need to take it easy. Tonight's the awards for the international dance music I'm presenting tonight, and actually I'm presenting the award for best global record label, which is a big award. So yeah. That's why I'm looking quite done up in my sweats, because I have hair and makeup entourage sitting here waiting to get me all ready for tonight's red carpet. So it's all exciting. Yeah, I really love this song. This is a remake. This is a cover. I'm like bouncing to this.
And before you perform on tour, or when you make an album or single, do you have any like rituals or things you have to do every time?
Yes. I warm up extensively. I am a live performer, and I mean, I know a lot of people on the dance circuit who, will in the UK we call it mime, you call it lip sync, and there are reasons why some artists would lip sync, and I think it's when they're doing day after day after day. Also, when you're in a big club and the sound's not terrific because the PA system's not, I mean, there are reasons for why artists will do that, but I've never done it. I've always liked to go out live. So my ritual is to sort of zen out, and I do some breathing exercises. I absolutely will do, at least 10 or 15 minutes of a vocal warm-up so that I feel confident when I'm on stage. If I can hit the notes backstage, you know that I'm going to be all right on stage. And then just right before I'm standing at the the entrance to come on, I just shake it out. And I try to get into the music because I don't want to. I'm going really from that Zen place where I'm totally warmed up and to an on stage where I have to sing in front of all these people. So I need to get back that energy. So that's my ritual. I to shake it out.
All right. That's all we have time for. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Great. It's great to be here. You can find me on staceyjackson.com, by the way. And tweet me. You can tweet me.